This morning. So let's start with the Sunday Telegraph. Starmer, EU reset good for our borders. What? Oh yes, Keir Starmer has promised that his plan to reset relations with the European Union is going to be good for the borders, despite warnings that actually what it means is tens of thousands of people are going to come to this country. And we're already under enormous pressure in terms of infrastructure and schools and hospitals and doctors and dentists and all the rest that you know about it. Now the government is locked in negotiations. So these negotiations work like this. The EU says jump and Starmer says how high. That's how this works, and then he's going to sign a deal tomorrow or late tonight. This is all about young Europeans coming into this country to live and to work. So the EU is pushing for this thing called the Youth Mobility Scheme. This is for kids between 18 and 30. They want them to stay in this country for as long as 3 years. But as I said yesterday, we don't exactly have a great track record at keeping track on these people and then chucking them out of the country at the end of their visas. Even though the United States is very good at that, by the way.
Being incredibly dishonest with the public.
No, I think Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves are amongst the most dishonest politicians we've had in our recent history. They just told lie after lie after lie. They said they weren't going to raise taxes. They did. They said they weren't going to take away the winter fuel allowance. They did. They said they were going to smash the boats, the gangs, and the gangs are smashing them. You're seeing absolutely astonishing numbers of people breaking into our country every day. Now they're saying it's all the weather. It's complete nonsense. They've lost control of our borders, as the Defence Secretary at least had the honesty to say on the Sunday media shows himself.
Absolutely right. I mean, you've been very much in the news yourself.
Keir Starmer's leadership just hit a legal landmine, and it wasn't subtle. In a unanimous ruling, the UK Supreme Court struck down what it called an unlawful attempt by his government to secretly drag Britain back into alignment with EU rules. Behind closed doors, Starmer's team had been working to reintroduce European regulations under layers of vague terminology and without telling Parliament or the public. These weren't minor adjustments either. Internal proposals revealed efforts to rejoin select EU regulatory agencies, sync UK standards with Brussels, and re-enter climate accords previously abandoned post-Brexit. The method? A backdoor manoeuvre disguised as administrative cooperation to dodge full parliamentary debate. The court didn't buy it for a second. This wasn't just a failed policy.
When Labour negotiates, Britain loses. He talks about a hat trick of deals. They are own goals. In 2020, the Conservatives concluded the Trade and Cooperation Agreement, the largest and most comprehensive free trade agreement in the world. We agreed to come back in 5 years to improve terms. This renegotiation should have been an opportunity to improve terms for our country. The terms are improved for the EU. And the Prime Minister can dress it up as much as he wants, but he has failed. It is bad for bills, it is bad for jobs, and it is bad for borders. This is not a deal made for Britain. This is a deal made for Labour's PR, to show them on the world stage. But it is a stitch-up for our country for their short-term headlines. Let's take the Prime Minister's abject failures one by one. First, on fishing. He has given away the prize most desired by EU member states and done so for almost nothing. Mr. Speaker, it is very easy to sign deals if you're prepared to give everything away for pennies. This deal locks out our fishermen until 2038. We are now in a worse position than the Faroe Islands, a set of islands with the population of Scarborough, but who get to have annual negotiations. And the Prime Minister quoted some organisations welcoming his deal. He doesn't listen to them normally, but he left one out deliberately. The National Federation of Fishermen's Organisations, who have described the deal as a surrender and a giveaway. This is a Prime Minister who would pay to give away his family silver. Why is the Prime Minister selling our fishermen down the river? Is it because they don't vote Labour? Second,
it was a political explosion. The ruling gave Starmer's opponents a golden ticket, and they wasted no time. Within minutes, accusations of betrayal flooded social media and press briefings. His quiet realignment plan turned into a full-scale national scandal, with critics branding it a covert reversal of Brexit. What was meant to stay behind the curtain is now the headline across Britain. As the ruling spread like wildfire, it didn't take long for the political knives to come out. Reform UK's Nigel Farage was first to the podium, framing the decision as proof that Starmer was trying to sneak Britain back into the EU without asking voters. His message? Brexit was never safe in Labour's hands. The right-wing base lit up instantly, with Farage's rally in Sunderland going viral as he stoked anger over what he called elite betrayal. But it wasn't just Farage. The Conservative Party launched a rapid response blitz. Social media ads, sharp attack videos and billboard campaigns all painted Starmer as the stealth Remainer Prime Minister no one voted for. Tory MPs in Parliament were quick to pile on, claiming the judgment confirmed their fears that Labour couldn't be trusted to handle Brexit responsibly. What's worse for Starmer?
Labour's Red Wall are actually saying this is a reversal of Brexit, which I would agree with. And what they're saying is the scheme could open the floodgates to tens of thousands more people flooding into the country, including people who have recently, these people who've gone into Europe illegally and then have freedom of movement to come back into this country. I mean, the whole thing is absolutely nuts. And at the same time, how do you reconcile Keir Starmer, who says, I'm going to be tough on immigration, the 10 million people, or 7 million people that have come here in 10 years, and the 12,000 people who've come here illegally already this year, despite him smashing the gangs and stopping the boats or wherever else maxim that comes out of his mouth next. And then you've got
Starmer is that the backlash didn't stop with his enemies. Labour's own backbenchers, especially those representing Leave majority areas, are livid. Many say they were never briefed on the plan and now fear being punished at the ballot box. Leaked internal messages show panic setting in, with some MPs accusing Starmer of outright deception. Inside Labour HQ, the fallout has turned into full-blown crisis mode. Private chat logs between MPs reveal a party in meltdown. Some demand an emergency meeting, others want Starmer to step down. One Northern MP reportedly exploded in frustration, claiming the leadership kept everyone in the dark, putting re-election hopes at risk in key Brexit-leaning constituencies. The most damaging revelation? Leaked documents now show Starmer personally
deal that could be hatched under the circumstances.
Well, I think it's a complete and deliberate betrayal of Brexit, and it goes against what the Prime Minister said he was going to do at the election in 2024. He said he wouldn't go back on Brexit, on the freedoms that the British people won in that referendum. He's done the absolute reverse. He's decided to make this country a rule taker. So for a huge range of issues on food standards, hygiene and many other things, areas where we want to do things differently, to take advantage of new technologies, we're going to be taking rules from Brussels under the control of the European Court of Justice, with no ability for our Parliament, our government, to vary those rules.
But fewer checks on the likes of foodstuff.
Number two, he's done a total sellout on our fisheries. A large part of Brexit was taking back control of our fantastic coastal waters. From January next year, under the deal that we did, we were going to get back control of every single sprat and mackerel in UK waters. He's put that off for at least 12 years, allowed Macron, which is what he wanted, allowed the French and many others to plunder.
He approved several versions of the EU alignment plan. That confirmation shattered any defence that this was just bureaucratic overreach. Suddenly, the issue isn't just about governance, it's about trust. And many within Labour no longer have it. While the shadow cabinet is fracturing, Deputy Leader Angela Rayner has reportedly asked for direct answers behind closed doors. Some senior figures are quietly gauging support for a leadership challenge. Outside London, local Labour branches have already started passing formal condemnations. Campaign operations in swing regions have been frozen as activists demand accountability. And as the pressure builds, Starmer's silence is only making things worse. Once seen as a calm strategist, he now looks evasive and cornered. Interviewed ministers have offered clashing explanations, some denying the plan existed, others calling it exploratory. The damage is done either way. With Westminster in chaos, the media didn't hold back. Legal experts on Sky and the BBC broke down the Supreme Court's ruling in detail, calling it a clear indictment of Starmer's leadership style. This wasn't a narrow legal defeat, it was a warning shot about how Labour makes decisions behind closed doors. Right-wing newspapers erupted. Headlines in the Daily Mail, the Telegraph and the Express branded the episode a secret EU power grab. Even more moderate outlets began raising serious questions about Labour's transparency and internal discipline. What was once seen as a party on the rise now looked fractured and desperate. Farage doubled down, using the media spotlight to fire up his base. His online engagement skyrocketed, and new polling shows a measurable shift in Leave-heavy regions of northern England. The Tories, seeing an opening, launched a wave of regional ads featuring Starmer's face and a single warning: he tried to take us back, the Supreme Court stopped him. Now it's your turn. Even outside England, the backlash is spreading. Scottish leaders are demanding clarity on what devolved governments knew. In Wales, Plaid Cymru wants an official probe, and London's Sadiq Khan, usually one of Starmer's strongest allies, has gone silent, adding to the sense that support is slipping. Behind the scenes, Labour's image has taken a beating it may not recover from. The party, once branded as disciplined and election-ready, is now being seen as divided, dishonest and dangerously out of sync with votes. Focus groups and internal polling reportedly show a sharp dip in swing voter confidence. The word that keeps coming up? Untrustworthy. Starmer, once praised for bringing calm and structure after years of internal chaos, now finds himself cast as a technocrat who tried to outmaneuver the people. His insistence on competence over chaos rings hollow to voters who now believe he deliberately misled them. Constituents who gave Labour a second look are stepping away, unsure who the party really represents. Inside Labour circles, talk of leadership change is no longer whispered. It's openly discussed. While no official challenger has stepped forward, names like Angela Rayner, Lisa Nandy and Wes Streeting are being floated more confidently each day. Starmer's allies insist the fundamentals of his leadership remain strong, but even they acknowledge the political storm he faces is unlike any he's dealt with before. The Supreme Court didn't just stop a policy, it shattered the illusion. Starmer's grip on power is slipping, and with a general election looming, his party is left asking the most dangerous question of all: can he still win? Keir Starmer's leadership now stands on the edge of a cliff. The Supreme Court may have ruled on a technicality, but its political aftershocks have ripped through the heart of Labour. What began as a quiet plan to smooth over trade relations has exposed deep fractures, not just in policy, but in trust, communication and identity. Labour's forward momentum has stalled. Voters who once saw the party as a safe alternative to Tory chaos are now rethinking everything. In key battleground seats, especially across northern England and the Midlands, Starmer's name is becoming a liability. Internal data suggests support among working-class Leave voters has dropped sharply in just a matter of days. With his authority under siege, Starmer faces two choices. Either fight through the firestorm, risking further alienation of his party and the public, or step aside and let someone else attempt to repair the damage. But even if he survives the leadership challenge, the damage to Labour's credibility could linger until election day. This scandal isn't just about EU rules, it's about the lingering pain of Brexit, the fight over national identity, and the deep distrust of elites who make decisions behind closed doors. Starmer's misstep reawakened all of it. And now, the only question that matters is this: has the betrayal narrative already taken hold, or can Labour claw its way back before the clock runs out? If you think Starmer crossed the line, hit that like button and share this video before it disappears from the algorithm. And if you want the full truth behind what politicians don't want you to know, make sure you're subscribed. Some senior figures are quietly gauging support for a leadership challenge. Outside London, local Labour branches have already started passing formal condemnations. Campaign operations in swing regions have been frozen as activists demand accountability. And as the pressure builds, Starmer's silence is only making things worse. But the backlash didn't stop with his enemies. Labour's own backbenchers, especially those representing Leave majority areas, are livid. Many say they were never briefed on the plan and now fear being punished at the ballot box. Leaked internal messages show panic setting in, with some MPs accusing Starmer of outright deception. Inside Labour HQ, the fallout has turned into full-blown crisis mode. Private chat logs between MPs reveal a party in meltdown. Some demand an emergency meeting, others want Starmer to step down. One Northern MP reportedly exploded in frustration, claiming the leadership kept everyone in the dark, putting re-election hopes at risk in key Brexit-leaning constituencies. The most damaging revelation? Leaked documents now show Starmer personally with notifications on. This story isn't over.